Thank you for being with us today. If this is your first time here, sup. If you've been here with us before, thank you for coming back. I am now beta testing some other stuff because the Hunger Games is a very finite resource. I'm almost out of things to do with it. So I need to see what's going to stick and if there's anything else that y'all like. Please let me know in the comments if you like this thing I'm about to do or if you have anything else specific you would like for me to talk about. But today what we're going to talk about is a little show that used to come on TLC called Four Weddings. Four Weddings is a competition show. It premiered in 2009 and it ended in 2018. The overall premise of the show is that there are four brides and they are competing for a free honeymoon. They go to each other's weddings, they rank each other's weddings, and whoever wins gets the honeymoon. Very self-explanatory. I just really like this show because they're also catty. And also, it's the most 2000s bullshit I've ever seen in my life. So today we're going to take a look at just one of the episodes and we're going to see how we feel about everything that's going on here. And I'm going to talk about how pretty these weddings are.
So what if four brides agree to attend each other?
Every single one of these dresses is already the most 2000s thing I've ever seen. And I love it so much. This is a period piece.
Meet Alexis.
I've been thinking about my wedding since I was 4. It's a do-it-yourself budget of $30,000.
So our first bride's name is Alexis. Her budget is $30,000. That's a DIY wedding. Still a crazy amount of money, but we will see a crazier amount of money in this episode. I've watched it once already. The thing that this show does is it really takes these women and parses them down to like 2 things, and that's all that they are for the whole episode. So Alexis is Pink Cupcake Girl. She's making her own cupcakes for the wedding, and she really likes the color pink, and she's gonna have a lot of it. Pink Cupcake Girl is here. That's what I'm gonna call her for the rest of this for ease, because honestly, 2 of these girls could be twins. They look identical to me.
This is with hot pink fuchsia feathers. What do you think?
Her man, Dan, knows how to keep his fiancée sweet.
Oh. It's tall and pink.
Wow. Spoken like a true man, I'll tell you that. I'm glad that he's helping. You know, I'm glad that he's there and he's actively participating. However, I do think the producers probably said, please sit down with your future wife and work on these wonderfully beautiful centerpieces.
Dan's allergic to feathers, and I told him he might have to get over it. All about me, people. All about me.
Dan, I take back everything that I said about you. I didn't even say anything bad, but anything that even sounded a little bit snarky, you did not deserve that. Dan's allergic to feathers, and I told him he was going to have to get over it because I'm going to have the whole wedding full of feathers. Going to like a pillow fight in there once it's over, and he might go into anaphylactic shock, but I'm glad those 15 minutes we had together as a married couple were wonderful before he fucking died. These girls are kind of crazy. It's I don't know if we're in Bridezilla territory, but we're definitely in like questionable amount of choices are being made that scare me a little bit. Also, that long ass necklace is crazy.
It is a couture big cupcake dress.
That is Glinda's dress act 2 of Wicked. It's just white and not blue. Put it up. Put it up here on the screen. I'm the one editing this. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. It's on the screen. That's the same dress. This is the same dress. She's acting like she really just like made something so great and crazy, but that dress has existed on Broadway for almost 10 years at the time that this episode was made. So I think that maybe you need to tell Kristen Chenoweth thank you. Now, get to it. She deserves it. Even if you didn't know for sure, you should always be thanking Kristen Chenoweth.
It is a couture big cupcake dress.
I definitely didn't want to do the cupcake gown.
Okay, this is one of my favorite things about this show. So each bride gets their own little intro where they get to say whatever they want, but the producers always cut this thing together where it directly contradicts the last thing the bride before says, and it is so hateful, but so wonderful. I really love my big poofy dress. I think a big poofy dress is the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. That's every time. It will do that for every single one of them. Every single episode is like that. It's not always about a dress. Sometimes it's about venues.
Lisa is a high-powered healthcare executive leading the high life in New York.
I just want to marry my man, and I want to have a good time.
Lisa's lucky man is Richard.
All right, so Lisa is 39. She's based in New York City. I would like to know what hair products she uses to achieve those individualized loose locks. That's very interesting. I've never seen it before. She's getting married to a man named Richard, who is 52. Bit of an age gap going on here. Her budget is $150,000. No one else on this show has a budget that high. The other three brides are like $25,000 to $30,000 is the cap. Girl, I don't think you need a free honeymoon. Why are you here? For the clout? But like clout didn't exist like this in 2009. I was talking to my friend about this earlier when I told her this is what I was going to do. She was like, it fascinates me because when people were doing these shows at this point in time, there wasn't really that much of a social media thing. So they were just doing it to do it and never be heard of again. They didn't have continuous public careers after the fact. And she was so right. And that is so interesting. And I would love to get inside these people's heads. Are you just doing it so people can tell you had a pretty wedding? Spoiler alert, she has a very pretty wedding. But she also has so much more money than the other brides. So yeah, she's going to have a really pretty wedding. I didn't like that I saw his tongue. I could have gone my whole life without seeing a 52-year-old man's tongue. I guess one day I'll be old, and I'd like to not be single forever. So maybe one day I would want to see a 52-year-old man's tongue, but not when I'm 26.
My wedding is going to take place at a venue extending over the ocean.
It's magic.
If our guests blink, they will miss something.
I don't know if our guests blink, they will miss something. Just sounds stressful to me. I don't know if I would want to be there. I also haven't been to that many weddings in my life. I think I've been to 3. I'm the oldest cousin. I'm an only child. One of my cousins is married. I have 2 friends who were married, whose weddings I went to. I've only been to 3 weddings. I'm really not. So really what I'm trying to tell you is that I'm not qualified at all to be reacting to this in any way, shape, or form. I'm single, not married, only been to 3 weddings in my life, and yet here you are hearing all of my opinions about these weddings. Welcome to the internet.
I chose a formal dress code for this wedding.
I feel like a dress code at a wedding is kind of silly.
So Lisa's little tidbit that's going to be contradicted by the girl that comes directly after her is that she is having a formal dress code at her wedding, and she thinks it's insulting when people don't dress up for a wedding. I don't know about that. Seems kind of like a strange thing to say. What do you mean? What do you mean? What's so insulting? I don't get that. I don't get that.
Jane's tying the knot in the city of brotherly love.
Our next bride is Jane. She's 26. She said, fuck your dress code. People are already buying you an expensive gift. I think they should be able to wear what they want. I agree in theory. Like, I really love that sentiment. But, you know, maybe it's just because I'm from, like, very small town hillbilly, South Carolina. Not all of South Carolina is hillbilly, but the area I'm from, hillbilly. I would not trust. I should have someone who's had a wedding watch one of these with me, probably, because I'm just talking out of my ass.
The colors for the wedding are pink, pink, and more pink.
See, I was wrong. This is the pink girl. The other one is just the feathers and the cake. This is that they are identical to me. I cannot tell them apart. Okay, so the first bride is just cake. This one is just pink. And I'm going to call the second one 150,000. Those are their names. Cake, 150,000, pink. Are we all on the same page now? I cannot tell these women apart. I'm going to mix it up 5,000 times, I'm sure. I'm so sorry. Has Jane ever seen the movie Steel Magnolias, perchance? Have you ever seen the movie Steel Magnolias? You should watch it. It's a devastating movie. Her 2 colors are blush and bashful. And that's what Jane's doing too. Pink and more pink. Pepto-Bismol all the way. I cannot remember any more lines from that movie right now. Dolly Parton's in there, though. That's Ryan. He's 25. He's making out with his fiance on camera. Don't know why they're going on so long. I think that they should have yelled cut.
I was in a sorority. He was in a fraternity.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of damn sense.
Our wedding is going to be like a huge party.
I consider myself conservative.
All right, so Jane's Pink's wedding is going to be a huge party. They have a lot of friends from their frat days. Scariest sentence anyone could ever say in their lives. But I do like that sentiment of a wedding being a big party. I think that that's very fun. I don't think it needs to be like stuffy. But this is the thing that will be used to directly contradict the lady that comes after her. So let's see what this lady's deal is.
Jennifer's a nurse from Queens, New York. Her prescription for the perfect day is to start early and honor your heritage.
All right, so next we have Jennifer. She is 29. She's doing a early wedding. I don't know exactly what that means at this point. She's going to incorporate some cultural elements. She's doing a brunch wedding. I'm going to call her Brunch. Am I going to get canceled for calling these women by one-word names for their weddings? I think we all can have a little fun, right?
Without budget, spending all on this. We were desperate for a honeymoon.
See, her budget's only $20,000. They're spending it all on the wedding, and she says she's desperate for a honeymoon, and she is competing on the same show as someone just spending $150,000 like it's nothing. There should be weight classes for this show, but it's just money and not weight. So classism. I'm describing.
The brides-to-be meet before their first wedding to see who they're up against.
All right, now they're all meeting. Again, I'm looking at those two blonde women at the table. I could not tell you which. I think, oh, that one girl's always, okay, she's always wearing pink, so that's pink. She's making my job so easy for me. Girl in pink is pink. Other girl is cake. Brunch, 150,000. Okay. I've remembered their names.
We're doing Philadelphia cheesesteaks. They're just gonna be mini cheesesteaks like this big.
I don't really see how that's Philly or how that's going to tie in, but I guess we'll see.
Okay, cake. You're giving me a bit of an attitude right now, and I don't really know why. So Pink is doing a Philly wedding. She's having table signs that are street names, and they're doing Philly cheesesteaks. And then Cake cuts in and is like, I don't really know how that's Philly. You don't? You don't know how that Philly cheesesteak is Philly? Do you want to spell it out? I think you're looking to be a problem. It's a Philly cheesesteak. I don't really see how that's Philly, but we'll see. Okay, girl, don't.
A new venue, which extends 500 feet into the ocean.
Wow, it's so exciting for all of us.
Yeah, right?
Pink seems very sweet. She seems to be actively engaged in this conversation. Cake, the eyes are not matching the smile. Does that make sense? Am I allowed to hate on this random person getting married in the year 2009? That's what's happening right now. So hop on or get off the train. Brunch also seems very nice. I'm rocking with the right side of this table right now. The left side, I'm a little iffy on. 150,000 also seems nice, but I'm still curious why she's here.
We're starting at 11.
Okay, that's really early. How early is she getting up? That's really early. 11 a.m. start?
I thought it was very sweet that she is making her wedding cake, so I can't wait to taste that.
I will say 150,000 seems to be very positive. Every time they're doing like a talking head with her, she's very nice about the different choices that the other brides are making and finds the bride side to all of it. And I think that that's a great quality in a person. You're growing on me, 150,000. It's not your fault you and the 52-year-old you're marrying have money. That's not true. How many wedding guests is a normal amount of wedding guests? I have no frame of reference for this, and I don't like math, so I don't do a lot of counting. But like 120 guests, is that normal? Is that small? That feels like it might be small. But I don't know anywhere close to 120 people. So I guess that's big. I don't know what 120 people looks like, I think is the issue that I'm having. Because that seems like, is that average? Is that a lot? Can somebody tell me how many people come to weddings? I could just ask one of the married people I know.
Wow.
This is objectively very pretty. It's not dated either. It's a very like timeless classic thing, which I love that in weddings. The lights or candles, I'm not sure which they are, floating above the altar. That's stunning. This is what $150,000 gets you. This beautiful venue with this beautiful ceremony space. Holy shit, this is so pretty. I love this dress too. They kind of put those bedazzled circles on like where tramp stamp would be on the back and like very low hips, and that's like the 2000s touch that they gave it, which I wish wasn't there. But I do love the overall like silhouette and simpleness of this dress.
All the prayers, hopes, and aspirations are kind of floating above this chuppah.
That's so beautiful. What the fuck? Also, I think I said altar earlier. Apologies, not an altar. Chuppah.
We walked right into the big double doors and cocktail hour got started.
Wow, this is great. God, this is so pretty. Do you have to spend $150,000 to get a wedding that looks like this? Don't tell me. Let me live in blissful ignorance until it's necessary for me to know. She is definitely, of these four girls, probably who would fit my aesthetic when I think about the idea of a wedding the most. Kind of just like a very like timeless thing. I'm very into the timeless thing. I don't want anything to be too like specifically like, oh, here's this micro trend that everyone's gonna hate in 2 months and it's my entire wedding. That would make me really upset.
Wait a second, guys. I think this is a mannequin, but real.
So a person standing still. That's a person standing still. Yeah, her reception does get a little performance arty, and that's kind of where she loses me a bit, I will say. I don't get that. But, at the beginning, she said that she wanted it to feel like if her guests blinked, they would miss something, and there is certainly a lot going on throughout this reception.
Then out came the bubble man.
I do not like that at all. For your wedding? No, you've lost me. You've lost me here in the reception. I don't get that. The people kind of just like moving in like the black unitards and like just one little accent piece is like a little bit almost like avant-garde, like postmodernism. It's a very 2000s thing to do. It reminds me of the way that like the Apple Music gift cards used to look. That's what that was like. This is just like weird, almost like body horror. And I'm upset by it. And I'm going to agree with Cake for once and say that if I saw that man stick his head in that balloon, I would also walk out. Because how is he breathing? How is he breathing?
He blew up his own living space and then he rolled around inside of it.
What? At a wedding? We're still at a wedding. I mean, it's impressive. He's like doing a little flip under there. Like, it's impressive, but why? No, that's foul. Popping that balloon like that in a room full of people? No, I would think I was getting mass shooted, to be so frank with you. That would send me into orbit, I think. I have a story of a time I thought I was about to be. I won't tell it today, but I was at the movies and I was like, this might be my time. And then I told my parents and they said, it sounds like he lost his nerve. Why would you say that to me? It's almost like a Banksy situation. I don't know what we're trying to do. I don't know why this is at a wedding. It's like a Vegas show. But also the first half of the wedding did not have that vibe at all, so it's very jarring. Speaking of Vegas showgirls, they're here fully. I don't understand this. Were we bored? This is making me feel more hopeful about being able to afford the way that the first part looked, because it seems like you're blowing most of your budget on a sideshow.
You can chill over there by the bar. We also got basketball at any time you want with Roy Hibbert and Detlef Schrempf.
I mean, I would guess they'll be bankrupt by the end of this sentence.
That's where the $150,000 came from. Who are these people? How much are you paying them?
In a second dress.
Oh, she changed. Those damn bubble skirts. I'm not with it now. And I'm not with it then. I think that's pretty, sans the hem. No one else likes it, but I do. Dessert experience. Willy Wonka. Instant name association happening for me there. And then I looked at it, and that was apt. Apt comparison. I don't know how we got here. I think it's like the almost whiplash that you get from the ceremony to everything else that happens, that it kind of puts you in this place where you're kind of confused. I think that if you had kind of anything even similar to this vibe in the first section, it would make everything else make sense. But I also understand wanting to keep your ceremony very simple and understated for a specific purpose and then partying afterwards. But I don't know. I think I would like to have it consistent throughout. Like, if it's going to be a thing where it's a little bit fun, I would like the ceremony to also feel a little bit fun.
This was everything I expected and more.
And look, at the end of the day, that is what matters. What matters is that she loved it and she had a fantastic day. And the wedding is beautiful. There's just some odd entertainment choices thrown in the middle there that were throwing me off. But if she loves it, everyone else should love it, and that should be the end of the story. And that goes for all 4 of these brides and every episode of this show. I'm not trying to yuck anybody's yum. I'm just talking about shit on the internet.
I'm giving Lisa's wedding an 8. It was a little bit above average.
Cake is a very negative individual, and that annoys me. I see the irony. Don't worry. Giving it an 8 and then saying it's slightly above average. My 1 to 10 scale must be fucked. I don't know. An 8 in my head is like a fantastic, amazing, almost perfect thing. Am I wrong?
Now it's Alexis's turn to impress the judges.
It's Cake's wedding. Brunch has had a family emergency and she is not going to be able to make it, so her best friend is stepping in and judging the wedding for her, but she's not there for the ceremony at all, so I don't really know what we're doing. I don't know how that's fair, but it's okay. It doesn't really matter. I don't want to spoil it for you, but the person that spends like 3 to 4 times more money than everyone else wins this.
Alexis's wedding is being held at a Philadelphia art gallery.
I do love the idea of an art gallery as a venue. That's very cool.
Ceremony seats are available for family members. It's standing room only for everyone else.
Maybe we can scooch up, niggle our way through the...
No, not really.
That seems incorrect. I feel like that's not normal. I mean, she said she widened the aisle for her dress to fit down. Crazy sentence in and of itself. So maybe they had to get rid of some of the chairs so that only the family could sit, but then everyone else is standing, and then you have to do like childhood choir and be like, everybody find a window, and what if there's this really tall guy in front of you and then you can't see somebody get married? That seems stressful. That seems stressful. Guys, is this video any good? Please tell me. I can't decide if I like what I'm doing at all right now. 2000s bubble necklace. Large and in charge. Am I right, fellas? Woo! What were we doing?
The necklaces are different.
Maybe that's a commonly held opinion. It couldn't be. They were so popular. I think I probably owned one. I mean, I was like 12, but it's probably around than 12. I have no real concrete memories of the first 18 years of my life, so I don't know. I feel like I got plopped on the earth at age 20, and I'm just moving from there. I am obsessed with this little kid. It's like he forgot how to walk because he got so nervous. That's so cute.
I've not seen a dress like that before.
Have you seen Act 2 of the musical Wicked? Then yes, you have. Yes, you have seen a dress like that before.
So literally where Lisa and I were standing, they were pulling a bar out.
No, that's a little crazy. That would stress me out really bad. If it was like I'm standing somewhere and all of a sudden there's cloths being pulled off and that's the bar, and then there's just a bunch of people that work there. No. I don't like that much, Cake. I don't like it that much.
We found it a little difficult to locate someone with a tray.
See, this is where we start nitpicking and I roll my eyes a little bit because this is just how life works. This is not the fault of Cake and her wedding. You couldn't find somebody with hors d'oeuvres. Okay. And I don't get that. I don't get blaming that on the wedding or acting like that's a unique thing and that's not just like human error on all parties. Like, okay, you're having trouble finding a server. The server is not hooked up to you via microchip knowing exactly when you need them to be around. This happens like every day to almost every person in the world. Let's not make this about the wedding.
We've been following you around.
Oh, and then to say it to them? No. Passive aggressive. I think everyone should have to work a customer service job. By law, you should be forced to work in customer service at least once in your life for at least a month straight. Probably longer. I did it for years. I'm finally not doing retail anymore. Thank God. It's soul-sucking, and it sucks, and it's terrible, and everyone's so mean for no reason. The negative to this is that if someone is being ridiculous to me at any establishment that I go into, I am like, oh, I'm gonna just be nice. Even if it's 100% that person's problem. And living here, we're a little notorious for it.
Very interesting paintings on the wall. I feel like I should unlock.
You got him. Or are we pearl clutching over a piece of art? I swear at the beginning you told me you were 26 years old.
We went to the second level of the venue for dinner.
There's a second floor? Oh, that's cool. I love this venue. Oh, those centerpieces. Ooh, I paused it on some centerpieces. I'm glad they're tall. It's giving me palmetto tree a little bit. I'm glad they're tall. I'm glad forethought was put into that to make them high above the table. That way they're not in anyone's way if people are talking across the table. We are looking like the venue after a Harry Styles concert just a little bit in a way that is not my favorite. And I can't stop seeing palmetto tree. Okay, so brunch's friend has just got there. The ceremony and cocktail hour have already happened. So brunch is just gonna be aware of what happens at the dinner and the after party. That doesn't seem super fair. I know it can't be helped, but I question the methods.
They really took me under their wing and showed me around since I got there late.
Okay, the other two girls do take brunch's stand-in on like a little tour of the space and kind of explain everything. So that's good. That probably helps her get caught up on the situation, but I still think it's not exactly the same as like being there to see it. Because how was she going to experience, that thing they had at the beginning? That was a big deal, that there were no seats for everyone. She didn't get to experience that with them. That's going to skew the rating. That was a big thing that happened. Anyway, this is not important. Who gives a fuck?
I really think the dress swallowed up Alexis.
I don't think that dress swallows her up at all. I think that the fact that the 2000s curse of a chronic drop waist existed actually helps her here in this situation. I think if it was like a higher waistline, it would make her look a lot shorter, but that helps elongate. And it's not really that big of a ball gown, honestly. If I'm thinking like ball gown, I'm thinking much bigger than that.
I'm gonna give her a 5. Which is average.
5 feels low. 5 feels like that's where you're bordering on like, I didn't have a good time. And I don't think that's what was happening here. I guess, but they're using the logic of like 5 is average, which I guess. Here's why my perception of this is probably skewed a little bit actually. I worked at Office Depot for a good long while before I moved here, and when I moved here for a little bit, quite honestly, hated that store. And I was a manager for like a year and a half of that time. And I was in charge of responding to all of the dumb surveys people would leave us from the bottom of the receipts. Anything below a 10 out of 10 flagged in the system, it would bring the score down. So if you're one of those people that goes into a survey and does 9 out of 10, and then where it's like, why? You put, nobody's perfect. Fuck off, stop doing that. You're the worst. You're so annoying, by the way. Everyone hates you. Stop doing it.
I'm giving Alexis an 8 out of 10.
Thank you, 150,000. An 8 is maybe high, because everyone, you don't know this, 150,000, you don't know this, but everybody gave your wedding an 8. So if we're using that comparatively, you might be ranking a little high. But I like your sentiment, 150,000. Again, I said she was a very positive person, and I can see that in her ratings, and I agree with it. I concur.
I gave Alexis's wedding an 8 out of 10.
Maybe Pink is aware that her and Cake look like they could be sisters, and that's like subconsciously bringing out some kind of extra competitiveness in her with that specific bride, because everyone else is doing an 8. Again, I don't know why she gave it a 5. I can't think of any logical reason for it. No one's even mentioning the fact that they had to stand during the ceremony. That's the most egregious part to me. I don't get why we're not bringing this up. 150,000 brought up that they had to look for the server, God forbid, but not that they had to stand for the entirety of the ceremony. Our priorities are not straight here, girls.
Jane is hoping to blow away the competition.
Okay, see, it's Pink's turn. She has 230 guests. First of all, crazy. That seems huge. There's no way I could muster up 230 people to be at my wedding. Is it because I'm an only child, so I don't have, like, other things to grab from to pull people in? Like, I'm trying to understand how you would ever get to that many people. You have to have had said hi to them once 10 years ago. You took a class with them. They gave you a pencil one time. Come to my wedding. How do you know that many people? You don't. You don't know that many people. You've spoken to that many people.
It was better than average than most hotels, but it was still a hotel.
We're very anti-wedding at a hotel at least Cake is. I don't know if that's normal or not. I can kind of see where she's coming from, but we'll see if that actually ends up mattering. I feel like it won't really matter, but I don't know. I've never been to a wedding in a hotel.
Literally a year and a half of just planning.
Okay, I see why it matters. First of all, every chair is pink. Christ. But her setup is very pretty. I think I going to a wedding in a hotel wouldn't bother me at all. Like, that's not going to be something that I dock points for or think about in a certain way. So I still think that Cake is being weird saying that. But I think for me personally, if it were my wedding, I am such like an overall the way something looks aesthetic person, if that makes sense. And I would like look out straight and I would see everything, but then I would look down and I would see that like patterned hotel conference room floor. And I think that that would kill it for me. So I think that I couldn't do this. But I don't care if someone else does. I think it's weird to care if someone else has their wedding at a hotel. But I couldn't do it. But it's not, I'm saying I couldn't do it in a way that's different than the way that Cake is acting snooty about the fact that it's in a hotel. I just know that my brain would hate the carpet. And I would be really hyper fixated on the carpet. And that would be a me problem. I'm aware. But I would be hyper fixated on the carpet.
That color is perfectly fuchsia.
Here's what I'll say. That is fantastic color matching on that color of pink. Those ties match those dresses perfectly. I just did a performance in South Carolina where I was trying to do pinks that were kind of that color. I know I was wearing 4 different shades of pink up on that stage. I was just praying everybody had enough drinks where they didn't notice. It's really hard to color match that, and I will give her major props because it's perfect. And honestly, it's a perfect match to the chairs. It's a perfect match to the flowers. Like, kudos to her for that because I think she did most of it herself, if I remember correctly. So she has an eye for shades. Now, also, she kind of had a little more time to plan it than I did. I was just buying a blazer off Amazon and then hoping I could find something that went with it, and I could not. But it still looked good. And you couldn't really tell unless you looked close, but I was well aware that I was wearing multiple different shades of pink, and I didn't want to be. I do not like this dress. I do not like the bottom of that. Something about that is like, I don't mean this meanly. You know when you have a cat and they have a little crinkle tunnel? That's what the bottom of that dress looks like to me. It's a very 2000s thing to do, I think. I think that she's probably very on trend for that time period, and I think that it probably makes sense. And if she felt beautiful in it, that's really all that matters. But I do not like the bottom of that dress.
First, marriage was ordained for the procreation of children. Practice it.
Why did he say that? I hate that with my whole being. Practice it. Old man with a mustache saying marriage was ordained for the procreation of children. Hey, I think that maybe we all know. I think we don't need to say that. I think we definitely don't need to ask if they're practicing. Y'all fucking? Dude, hey, 230 people back there watching that happen. I don't think we need to know. That's family members. This is where all those men that do those stupid ass vows to their wives where they talk about like bending them over or whatever and everyone hates them. This is what emboldened them. This specific episode of 4 Weddings from 2009 on TLC. They all watched it. I know they did. Not her husband shook his head no, though, when he said practicing. He said, I am a good virgin boy. I'm a good boy. She tells me that every night.
The officiant was spunky.
Don't say spunky. No, don't say spunky when we're talking about what we're talking about. Don't say he's spunky. Also, don't like him. He's weird. He's a weirdo. That's a weird thing to say. He's so spunky and entertaining. No. And stop saying spunky.
You have filled my world with meaning. You have made me so happy and more fulfilled as a person.
I love vows that are written by the couple. I think that's incredibly important. And I'm so glad that they did it. I do think that everyone should maybe take a class about reading from a card if they are not experienced with it, because they sound a little robotic. And I don't think they want that to be like how their weddings memorialized. I don't think wedding videos were as much of a thing then as they are now, so it might not have mattered as much. But now, wedding videos are like such a big part of getting married. And I think that people should maybe like take a public speaking class, do something if it's something they have like no familiarity with, because I don't think you want on video it to sound like, my love, I am so thankful that I have you and I love you more every day. The years that we have spent together, I don't think you want that. You should take a public speaking class before you get married if you don't feel comfortable with talking out loud. And you should also work on some sight reading. Do a cold read. Do a little cold read. Do a little cold read. Work on your cold reading skills, but also you've written them. I think I would probably. My hand looks huge from this angle. Let me stop doing that. I think I would probably memorize mine, but I would have them as a reference because I think it's very likely that that's a very high stress situation and your brain would short circuit and you would forget everything, and I would like to have them ready to pull out as soon as possible if necessary. But I think I would try to memorize mine. But also that's a skill that I have because I do acting shit. So someone might find that very intimidating, and if you do and you would like to have a reference, I think you need to get more comfortable with reading from a piece of paper. I think we don't need to have the vows that sound like AI is reading them out loud, please, because it's just going to get harder and harder to distinguish because we're in a dystopia. We're not. That's really doomer. I try really hard not to get doomer. I don't think we're in a dystopia. That's a hyperbolic joke.
She sounded very in love.
Did she? She sounded like she was reading from a piece of paper. Hence everything I just said. That's why I say you need to do it. Because I think you would like to sound like you're in love because you are in love and you've written such sweet things. And don't you want to also convey that with your voice? Yes. So, take a class. You'd think I'm working for big public speaking with the way I'm promoting this right now, but I just think that you should do it. I don't like watching a wedding video where I feel like a robot speaking to me. Aww. Her fiance is shaking so bad when he puts her ring on. That's so cute. Men should yearn more. Men should yearn more.
You may kiss the bride.
Pringles man is smiling too big when he says kiss the bride after saying what he said earlier. I'm uncomfortable. Are you on a list? Someone should put you on a list.
Cocktail hour is held in the hallway.
Cocktail hour in the hallway is a choice. You know, country girls make and do. Fully support it. I get it. Like, you're using that one room. You need to flip it to be a dinner space. That just seems like it would be very narrow and hard to navigate. And when you have a wedding that big, she has the biggest wedding, 230 guests, and they're all out in the hallway trying to get drinks, that is a recipe for disaster. That's like somebody's going to yell stampede and bad things are going to occur. It could happen in that small of a space like that, honestly. And it sounds like there's a lot of frat boys there, so I would be concerned.
I felt I couldn't relax and enjoy the cocktail hour.
I agree. I agree with what Lisa says, that she can't relax because there's so many people. And there's only 6 tables for that many people. That's crazy. That is not... We should have thought about that a little bit more, probably. And I do understand what she said. She felt like she couldn't relax. I would feel the same way. Like, you're constantly like in somebody's way, trying to get around a bunch of people. Not a good time. Not a good time would be had by me either.
I couldn't believe that one of the groomsmen came out in a dress. I actually had to look a few times to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing.
Oh, the 2000s were pearl clutching over the outfit swap. I had to check. I was so surprised I had to check and make sure I was seeing what I was seeing. Yeah. Whoa, dude. Crazy shit going on. Mind blowing. They switched outfits. To be fair, no one is actually being that negative about it, and it was like the 2000s. I think that everyone is just like very hyper vigilant to stuff like that now, where when it starts, you're kind of like, and what about it? Very defensive. We're all very defensive now. I think it's warranted, but we probably need to find a way to be a little bit more measured about that in general. But I just did it too. So, you know, we all need to do it, me included.
I would definitely give it a 7.
I always feel bad when a bride gives scores higher than what another person gave her. Like, that other girl gave you a 5 and you don't know it, and you just gave her a 7, and your weddings were pretty equally yoked as far as like any problems that occurred. And you gave her a 7 and she gave you a 5. Oh no. Found a dongle in the couch.
Jennifer's sweet and simple nuptials take place on a country estate in New Jersey. Cool weather prompts a last-minute change of plans. The ceremony is moved indoors to the banquet hall's lobby.
That sucks. That would probably send me into orbit. I'm going to have people that know who I am deeply as a person around me whenever I get married. Who knows at this point? Because that would be one of those things. A ceremony, very last minute, having to move inside. I can't imagine. That's so many variables. You know how many variables just became like a problem when something like that happens? You probably don't because you don't think about stuff like that. But that's why I'm saying this would be the thing that sends me into orbit. Because I'd be like, oh, here's 50 things that will arise because of this. And I think of all of them instantly. And also like whatever you had planned outside for like your aisle and like maybe like what your altar or whatever their version of that was going to be looked like is kind of like null and void, and that sucks too, especially when you have to do it day of, although I'm sure they knew it was going to be cold. Maybe they didn't do it as last minute as they're making it seem right here, but you know, it's inside, it's not where it's supposed to be, so they are in a very plain, not decorated space, and that probably is going to make the other three throw a hissy fit. But in a way I understand, because they had put so much time and effort into theirs, and Jennifer probably did too. Sorry, Brunch probably did too. I have a friend named Jennifer, so it's much easier for me to remember her name as opposed to the other ones.
There was no music, kind of just dead silent.
That little baby! Look at him! With his pillow, and he's throwing it around because he doesn't know what he is because he's a baby. It is weirdly quiet, and that probably could have something to do with the fact that they moved the wedding inside, but that would be uncomfortable to just see like a group of people walking up and like there's flower girls and like it's just like awkward silence. You probably hear that one old person in the back like candy wrappers opening. I say that one old person, that was me at my friend Hannah's wedding. I had lost my voice a week before. I was so sick. I had to rally to go to that wedding. I had 3 people staying at my house with me, and I didn't have a voice. I know I had a fever. I went to bed at like 7 p.m. right when I got home from work and got settled, put on like the thickest fleece thing in the world, sweated my fever out, forced it to break, and then I still couldn't really talk, and then it went away completely after the wedding because I was dancing around so much, but I had a bad cough, and I was sitting in the very back, like white knuckle gripping my chair, trying not to cough during that ceremony, and at one point I did, and Kendall just patted my leg because she's a real one.
The dress looks pretty.
All right, we have another case of 2000s dress. This one is like the cover of the 27 Dresses DVD. That's what this one's reminding me of. I just don't get all of that. I don't know. My best friend's the costume designer, not me. I can't think of the word. The crunchy stuff at the bottom where it's all scrunched, I don't get that. I think that's why I like the first dress the best. It did not have any of that. I do love that veil. I love the piping on the side of it. It's not like too thin, it's thicker, so it stands out more, and I like that a lot.
Cash's brother was the officiant.
My man, whatever your name is, I do not remember. I'm so sorry. My man Brunch's husband with the Converse at the wedding. Yes, I support. Throw some Disney knees in there, maybe some fingerless gloves, and you are ready to go. I actually do like the idea of Converse or like a non-conventional shoe at a wedding, to be fair. I think I wish that his pants were maybe tailored a little better. I think that would help. It kind of just like falls onto the shoe. I also think you need to have a brand new set of shoes if you're going to have white on your shoe, not ones that you've worn before. And I don't have room to talk. My Air Forces, I need a new pair desperately, actually. They're looking rough. They're looking worse for wear. And every time I wear them now and I'm going out somewhere, I'm like,
No, not in my shoes. Don't look at my shoes. I hate these stupid shoes.
dirty ass Air Forces. But also, I'm not getting married in them. So I'll survive. But you should have got a brand new pair of Converse for your wedding, my guy. They should be bright, shining white, need to cover my eyes. I shouldn't be able to see a difference when I look at the bottom of her wedding dress and I look over to your shoes. They should be the same degree of white. Why aren't they? Why didn't you buy a new Converse? I think you could have. I think we're spending a lot of money. I think maybe the $60 for the Converse. They probably were cheaper than that at this point in time. Actually, they're just more expensive than 60 now is what's happening.
Is there any coffee or tea?
We'll be serving that after dinner.
They'll serve that after the brunch.
Y'all are being, we're getting catty. We're doing the catty thing right now. Coffee or tea, we'll serve that after dinner. Oh, you mean brunch? God forbid a man say one wrong word. There's no coffee or tea before it's 11 a.m. That's not that early. It's early for a wedding, but it's not early for like people with jobs. That's a normal time. And they had mimosas and stuff. Like, they had brunch foods. They just didn't specifically have, like, coffee for you to have at that point in time. I'm being nitpicky. I understand the frustration. Like, you're thinking maybe you'll have, like, just breakfast food. You know, they could have done, like, Bailey's and, like, spiked it and done a cute thing with it. I've gotten something similar at the Botanical Garden when we went for the Christmas lights last year.
No
So you're
way.
saying that they're soaked in alcohol?
An apple soaked in alcohol sounds disgusting and mushy. Everything about that makes me recoil. I also do kind of agree. It is difficult because like weddings are very much associated with like a party and like some alcohol and stuff, and then you're having at 11 a.m. so you're still trying to like oblige, but it is kind of like, do we want to get liquored up at 11 a.m.? I'm sure a lot of people do. I don't think I necessarily would. So it's a hard line to walk, and I think that doing like boozy fruit is a good way to walk that line, but the thought of an apple that has been soaked in a liquid does make me want to throw up just a little bit.
I love the centerpiece for sure, guys.
Oh, you love this?
Oh, you love this? Is crazy. What? Yeah, hey, I'm so sorry we can't all have big, gigantic palmetto tree feather centerpieces that are above everyone's head. You have to be 7 feet tall to touch them. I'm so sorry. We don't all love Harry Styles so much that we emulate the floor after his concert. Those are wonderful flower arrangements. They're very pretty. What's your deal? What's your problem? What? Stop.
There was really no decoration anywhere except their flowers.
Most centerpieces are flowers. I feel like I'm high. Did you expect everybody else to have feathers like you? You're the weird one. It's like a fun choice, and I'm glad that you did it if you like it, but you are the odd man out here. You are not the one that gets to be like that. That's pretty. I love that. So for the reception, brunch changes into her cultural dress. It's very pretty. It's very beautiful. Everyone also acts very normal about it. They're going to not act normal about something in a minute. So I'm going to give them their props now for not saying something weird for no reason, which is apparently hard to do.
Very sexy.
I don't think it's sexy. I don't think it's supposed to be sexy. I think that it's weird that they called it sexy. That was the first thing that made me go like, is it sexy? I don't think it's trying to be. I don't know why it would. I guess there are slits up the side, which they mentioned, but I do not get like a sexy vibe from that dress. I don't know. I don't think that's the goal, at least. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
The speech is not supposed to be longer than the groom's ability to make love.
At least it wasn't during the ceremony. I'd kill somebody in my wedding party if they said that shit. No, this is not the time. Maybe I'm a prude. Maybe I am a prudish bitch. Possible. Many such cases, you know. I was raised really religious. I would be fuming. This is not what we're here today. This is not what we're here today to talk about. This is not what we're talking about. This is not. No. Nope. Nope. Funny joke, I guess, but like weird that you're saying that in front of this person's family. Everyone's family is there.
You're gonna skip over the pig.
The animal laid out on a carving board. I'm gonna head over this way.
All right, we'll wait in line.
Oh, okay.
Cake, you're on notice, honestly. I understand that might not be something that you're used to seeing, and like the side of it can be a little like, I don't know, it can make you taken aback or whatever. But then to like, you're making too big of a deal of it. They're both like, yeah, we're just going to wait in line. And you're like, I'm going to go over here. I don't want to be near that pig. And you're like, I understand she said it has culture. Okay, then shut up. That's so hard. If you don't like it, don't go near it. But you're making it a thing. Why are you making it a thing? That's weird that you're making it a thing. You can just be quiet. You do have an option to be quiet.
There were no waffles. There were no pancakes.
We're nitpicking. Y'all are nitpicking. There's eggs Benedict right there. That is a brunch food through and through. And then they did like substantial proteins. I understand that maybe it would be cute if they did like a waffle bar, but that also is not this girl's vibe at all. I don't get let me serve waffles at my wedding. This is not Leslie Knope we're talking about. I think Eggs Benedict is a fine choice to do as your brunch situation. And they had mimosas. That's like the main thing. They have breakfast food. It's just not all breakfast food. You made up a fantasy in your head of like walking in and getting like the dessert experience from 150,000's wedding, but with waffles and a chocolate fountain probably. But you didn't like it when she did it, so why would you like it if you got it this time? Y'all aren't making sense. Y'all are nitpicking.
Table toasting was my favorite part of the day.
I do love the table toasting thing. That's very cute. I honestly like mental note for whenever that I like that. Tucking that in the very back of my mind for like years from now, whenever that occurs.
Turn.
Then they're weird with the pig. Thumbs down. Oh my God. I just noticed that she's giving it a thumbs down and the other two are standing behind her like, bleh, and she's giving a thumbs down. That's crazy. Read the room. You know that like had a significance. It's obviously also the only piece of like food related stuff still on the table, so it's there for a reason. There's also, oh my God, there's also a big oil mark, so they moved that to take the picture with it. I just realized that. They slid that thing in a different place so they could take a weird picture with it. And you knew that there was a reason it existed, that it was there for a very specific purpose. That's obnoxious. That's so obnoxious. The thumbs down is really sending me. The thumbs down is making me honestly a little heated. I feel a little heated about that. I don't... what's your fucking problem?
I'm giving Jen's wedding a 4. I just couldn't get past the fact that there was a dance party going on.
You didn't have to dance. God forbid have fun. A 4? Was not, she didn't have any like actual like big logistical issue. I might care about logistics too much, but the second and third one had these big logistical issues that made it hard for the wedding to function properly as a whole. And this one did not. And you just gave it a 4? Y'all are weird. I'm getting bad. I don't like the vibe that you're putting off there.
I gave Jen's wedding a 5. I just wish I felt more about Jen and Cash through things in their ceremony space.
I think that wishing you got more of a sense of who they were in their ceremony space is valid, but that's also not their fault. So I think it's weird to get to... God, we're capping her scores really low.
I'm giving Jen's wedding a 3 out of 10.
A 3? If she mentions the damn pig in whatever she's about to say, I'm getting up and I'm walking out.
The 4 brides have attended each other's big day.
Okay, so now we're at the part where they're going to decide who has the best wedding. They've been ranked 1 to 3, and then like that score is added in with their overall experience scores, and then whoever has the biggest one of all of that wins the honeymoon, and they announce that by that person's husband coming out of a van. Not a van. Whoa. A limo.
I enjoyed Jen's food the least. There was not a lot of options, and the giant scary pig.
Okay, well, she mentioned the fucking pig. You're weird. You're being weird. Also, they showed pictures of like what looked like a country hash type potato situation and sausage links. I thought there was no breakfast food, bitches. What the fuck? Are you lying to me? I just saw it with my own 2 eyes. I saw B-roll of it. Plenty of breakfast food, it would seem.
I enjoyed Alexis' venue the most.
Alexis did have the best venue. I did love that venue. I liked that a lot. I liked it at the art gallery. I liked how it was 2 levels. I think the architecture lended itself well. I wish that she didn't do the design choices she did in that very like timeless space, but to each their own. Sorry. Cake, not Alexis. Oh my God.
To 4 fabulous weddings and 4 fabulous wives.
Oh, perfect. Cheers.
These dresses are crazy. Oh my God. When I look at a lot of stuff from like 2010s, late 2000s, it feels like everything is just like perpetually wrinkled. Like whatever material we were obsessed with at that point in time, it just has this look of just like density that is crazy to me. Surprise. It's the one who spent $150,000 that won. She wins, and then there's kind of the two in the middle, and then there's a very large gap before Brunch's wedding. And again, I think y'all are being weird. They go to Aruba. I'm sure they could afford to go to Aruba. They spent $150,000 on their wedding. But yeah, that's for weddings. That's what it's all about. That episode was honestly a little mild. It wasn't as catty as I thought it would be, except for Cake. She really liked to take it up a notch a few times. But all in all, they were pretty nice to each other, and they weren't making that many backhanded comments. I would like more drama next time, please. That's all I have for you today. Please let me know how you feel about this. If there's anything else you would like for me to watch, I am searching desperately for like the thing that I should be doing next. So if there's anything specific that you would like to see, please suggest it to me. If you want to follow me on Instagram and message me there or comment there, you can do that as well. It's just my name. Please feel free to subscribe. Please feel free to like this video. I would like it if you did that. I think you would like it if you got more updates from me, maybe, possibly. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know what's going to happen next. We're in limbo. We're going to see what ends up being the thing people like, if anything. Because the views are not viewing, to be so honest. But it's fine. I'm having a good time, and I'm not stopping. We're going to do it consistently this time. Please let me know what you think. And I'm very thankful for you if you're watching this video, and I hope you have a great week, and I will see you on the next one. My phone didn't die, but it's going to in like 20 seconds probably. Ba-bam.